For you to be able to build a huge network, there are actually simple steps. These are actually basic. Number one, if you're somebody wanting to succeed, learn and master the business. What I noticed, no, since I've worked with thousands of people throughout the years, a lot of people who sign up, they don't do any meaningful activity. They don't get their hands dirty. They don't attend trainings. Fortunately, 9 out of 10 of people who sign up in the business, they have this try mentality. So what do I mean by try mentality? So they think, sige, if it clicks, di good. If not, then okay lang. Sige, I'll try making an effort. So what they do, they would approach siguro 2 kaibigan nila, 3 office mates nila, siblings nila, parents nila, and after talking to like 10 people, they would immediately conclude the opportunity is not for them. But for me, at the end of the day, no, if you're starting a business, you don't just talk to 10 people. Whatever business you're gonna open, it's impossible for you to succeed in any business unless you're a master of that business. So think of it this way. If you were to open a mineral water station, you don't just put up the capital, cough up 1 million pesos, hire people, ito, 1 million. Kayo na magpatakbo ng mineral water station, bahala na kayo sa buhay nyo. Wala na akong pakialam dyan. Diba? As a business person, you don't do that. If you were to start a mineral water station, even if you don't know anything about how to run a mineral water station, whether you like it or not, you're gonna have to learn everything about running that sort of business. Diba? You cannot just throw in money sa business na yun in hope that your business turns profitable. So in the same way, you cannot just open a grocery store and not know how to run a grocery store. And frustratingly, diba, a lot of people join network marketing. They throw money in here. They buy products. They would try the business. And after like 2 weeks, 3 weeks of trying, they would quit and say, that business is not for me. Diba, at the end of the day, you have to realize whatever business you open, not just Usana, not just franchising, whatever sort of business, you should give it meaningful time. You should give it meaningful effort. Diba? You should be persistent until you make your business profitable. So, in Usana, what are the skills that you need to learn? You need to learn how to approach people, how to market the products, how to present. You need to learn how to lead an organization. So, basically, everything you need to learn and you need to master. And a lot of people, every time they realize the effort and pain, parang, oh my God, ang dami palang kailangan gawin. Akala ko bibili lang ng products. Kailangan pala pagtutuunan mo yan ng oras. Kailangan pala i-effortan mo yan. Diba? So, for me, if that's how you're thinking, you have to, diba, check your mindset. Lahat ng business, lalo na itong Usana, nasimulan mo na siya, and there's a big potential income that you could make out of this, might as well spend time learning and spend time mastering the business. And a lot of people, the frustration comes in next. Saan? Dito naman papasok yung mentor. I've actually been in the business for over a year. I've been in the business for 3 years, 5 years. I've been attending all the trainings. I've been attending all the conventions. And yet, I've not made good money out of this. So, it's not working for me. So, for me, no, if you're somebody who claims na, sige, I'll cut you some slack na kahit paano, master mo naman na talaga si Usana. Dito papasok yung second step. If you were to build an organization, you really need to target the right people. You need to target the right people. You need to start adding the right people. Kung baga sa traditional business, no matter how loaded you are, no matter how much cash you have, if you were to open a restaurant, you're not gonna get staff, a staff or a manager, or you're not gonna employ a crew na mas tamad pa sa'yo. Diba? A crew na mas busy pa sa'yo. So basically, if you want to succeed in this business, you want to attract the right people who are perfect for your business. And when I say the right people, people would ask me, mentor, how would you define the right people for my network? So as Usana is a business, you have to keep in mind every time you prospect, you don't want to limit yourselves to people na wala lang magawa. Because a lot of people new to this business, they have this mentality of inviting people close to them or people na they know na wala namang ginagawa. So it's very shallow as they try to build their network. So what do I mean by this? A lot of people, what they would normally do, especially when they're scrambling to hit PPPS, they always think of, sige, yung friend ko, tambay lang naman yan sa bahay. Sige, inviting ko yan sa Usana. Yung auntie ko, sige, wala rin yan ginagawa. Nagko-Korean novela lang yan. Sige, I'll try inviting this person also. And what I noticed, having worked with thousands of people throughout the years, I've done so many presentations. If you invite kung sino-sino lang, and if you invite 20 people, 30 people, and lahat sila tamad, lahat sila, they're not goal-oriented individuals, and you offer them a business, you offer them an opportunity, you're always gonna end up frustrated by the end of the presentation. So, what happens normally? After you pitch the presentation to them, what frustrates me, even after doing the business for so long, you would encounter a lot of people who would tell you, yeah, Ryan, maganda yung products, maganda yung business, kaya lang, I don't think I have the time to do that eh. Maganda naman, Ryan, kaya lang, I don't think linya ko yan. Maganda naman, kaya lang, I have no budget or I cannot make the commitment to do that type of thing. And what frustrates me, hearing those excuses, normally, they would come from people who actually need to augment their income. Diba? So it frustrates me when you talk to somebody struggling financially, you offer them an opportunity, they like it, but they don't want to lift a finger. Diba? And for me, what I realized, no matter how powerful, how compelling, how electrifying the presentation you give them, at the end of the day, if you're talking to a lazy person, it's gonna be very hard for you to convince that lazy person to do business. You're gonna be very frustrated in the end, trying to handle all the objections, but in the end, nangiira lang is yung katamaran ng taong kausap mo. So basically, when I changed my paradigm in terms of building the network, and I started targeting people who are ambitious, driven, motivated people. So every time I pitch the business to them, they love the products, they like the opportunity, and without batting an eyelash, they sign up. Because these are people, when you show them a good opportunity, they have goals, diba? And they see the potential of the business, they would actually grab it. And throughout the years, that has been our strategy. To attract people better than us, people who have more connections than us, and through time, we just stuck to that basic and simple strategy. Look for people na driven, look for people who have connections, people who have ambition. And ito lang I want to show you guys how our team has grown throughout the year. So we started back in 2000, and as I've said, Mentor Nat was our mentor and direct sponsor. So throughout the years, napalaki naman namin yung team namin to this size. So this was the training that we had at the Usana Singapore office back in 2019. So before we were frustrated, we always went back to our mentor, Upsnat, bakit ang hirap. Pero what we realized, for you to speed things up, para mapalaki mo talaga yung network mo, look for high caliber people. Look for people who are leader materials. And in this training, let me share, we actually invited here, this training was very special, kasi we invited Doc Sumed. So he's the one wearing checkered. So he's like an executive 4-star diamond from Thailand. And Doc Sumed, when he gave that training and when he introduced himself, si Doc Sumed is actually a very successful doctor in Thailand. He's actually a very wealthy person. But when he came across Usana, I think in less than 2 years or 3 years, he turned executive 4-star. Diba? Pero if you're somebody new, and sabihin natin Doc Sumed was somebody on your prospect list, you wouldn't even dare approaching him kaagad. Because most likely you would feel intimidated. But right now, diba, Doc Sumed is actually one of the Usana superstars from the Asia Pacific region. And beside Doc Sumed, who is she? She's Helen Song. So I think Helen Song is executive 9 or 10 star. So Helen Song, prior to Usana, she had a good career going on for herself. So she was an auditor for, if I'm not mistaken, KPMG in Singapore. So she's an accountant, pero yung mom niya was very active in Usana. So when she got burnt out sa work niya, and na-realize niya, sabi niya, if I were to stay on my job for the longest time, sabi niya, it would take me a decade or 2 decades to financially break through. And when she saw the Usana opportunity, so she resigned as an accountant, and right now she's full-time also in the business. And if you were to follow her Instagram, her Facebook, makikita mo talaga yung transformation niya throughout the years, and her story is also just as inspiring. So kung makikita mo, Doc Sumed, Helen Song, these are people who are driven, these are people na goal-oriented, and you want people like them under your team. And thirdly, as you attract good people under your organization, a lot of people, they stress themselves too much, no? Mentor, ba't ganun? I have so many downlines, they're not moving. I have so many downlines, parang they're not interested naman about hitting their goals. I want to rank advance, pero my team is not moving alongside with me. And this is the problem with network marketing, diba? So first, you feel you cannot invite people, you cannot sponsor people, but there comes a time that sponsoring, inviting is not a problem for you anymore. But the next problem, the next bottleneck that you're gonna have is that you're able to sign up people, but they're not trained. They didn't understand the business. They do not fully appreciate what the business actually offers them. So it's very hard to push people to work with them if they don't know the value of what they signed up for. So what you have to understand about network marketing, just like any other business, this is a people development business. People development business. So, Usana is no different from San Miguel Corporation. It's no different from whatever big corporation out there, in the sense that every time you recruit people into your team, you have to train them. You don't just recruit a person and hope that they move. You don't just recruit a person and hope that they do their job. Every time you sign up somebody, they're your business partners, but you have to ensure that they actually understand what they signed up for. You have to ensure that they appreciate the opportunity. You have to ensure that they know what to do. So, dito, noticeably, what I said was to promote trainings and events. I did not tell you to train your team. I did not tell you to mentor your downlines. If you're a beginner, you could just leverage on the Usana trainings. You could just leverage on the team trainings. And you could actually leverage from the time of your mentor, the wisdom of your mentor. So, meaning to say, if anybody signs up under your team, diba, whether isang tao yan, dalawang tao yan, you have to ensure that they're able to attend a basic training, they're able to attend the product training, they're able to attend your team trainings. You have to ensure na nai-edify mo yung trainings, that they're excited to attend. Not that they only attend. You have to make sure that they're excited to attend. So, you really have to make the trainings exciting for them. And as you do so, just imagine, no, if every single person who joins your team actually understands what they should do, and they're actually motivated to perform, it's actually much easier, no, to build a network. Building a network is much easier than you think, sa totoo lang. You just need to master these steps. And dito, you have to realize, diba, you would normally read this quote from Facebook. And this is something you should realize this early on. You don't build a business, you build people. And the people build your business. And this holds so true in network marketing. Diba? Teach your downlines, make sure that they're trained, make sure that they're equipped. And once they grow, once they mature, you're gonna reap the rewards. And fourthly, if you want to build a solid Usana business, this is something that we learned from mentor Nat Sunyo when we were starting. Sabi niya, if you really want to make good income sa Usana, you should have the discipline of two things. Sabi niya, number one, you should have the discipline of having no zero week. No zero week. So, meaning to say, every single week, as small as $30, $50, you have to make sure that you're earning. You have to make sure that your business is profitable. It's not easy, lalo na if you're not good in sales. It's not easy if you're not the most skilled person. But if you keep pushing, if you're consistent with $30, $50, before you know it, you would already have had the capacity to push for $100, $200 a week. If you're consistent with $100, $200 per week, before you know it, you already have a sizable organization that could catapult your income to $400 to $600 per week. Diba? So dito, yung weekly income goals mo, diba, it's not a nice thing to have. It's not something you do when you're excited. It's something that you should do week after week after week, whether you feel good or not. Tandaan mo, walang business na pumapayag na walang income. Walang business na pumapayag na walang revenue. So, just imagine, if you owned a restaurant, diba, let's say you have a restaurant in Greenbelt or in Rockwell, and your monthly rental is $500,000. And sabihin natin ang salaries ng tao mo, $500,000, but plus including your all other overhead expenses. if your overhead expense is 30,000 pesos a day, you would not allow na there's a day na zero ka. Diba? You're gonna have to ensure that your sales go above board 1 million pesos because that's your overhead expense every month. So the problem with network marketing, the problem with Usana, we don't have any overhead expense. Diba? Whether you make zero or not, you don't directly pay for the enterprise rental. Diba? You don't directly pay for the staff. Whether you earn or not, wala ka namang overhead. That's why it's so easy to chill. It's so easy to be so complacent. And it's so easy to accept, ay, zero this week eh. Diba? And if that's the attitude that you have, it's gonna be very hard for you to grow your business. Because any business, be it network marketing or traditional business, they always set weekly goals, monthly goals, quarterly goals. Diba? Meron annual targets. So dito, if you really want to expand your business, you should set weekly goals. Diba? If you're somebody na, sabihin natin you're a believer, you were able to hit $100 per week. Diba? As exciting as it sounds, wow, you made your first $100 converted to Philippine peso. Diba? That's 5,000. Not bad na rin if you're doing this part-time. But if you made $100 in 1 week, why not make it consistent $100 per week? Diba? If you're already consistent with $100 per week, why not push yourself to make consistent $200 weekly? And in doing so, that's what we did throughout the years, no zero week. We were able to grow the organization. Because if you're consistent with the CVP income, lumalaki yung organization mo as a direct result. And secondly, sabi ni Mentor Nat, apart from having no zero week, you should always try to beat your last check. Always try to beat your last check. So meaning to say, if you're somebody, you're already consistent with $400, diba? Why not try to make $450 this week? Why not try to make $600 next week? Diba? As you try to beat your last check, if that becomes a habit, yung rank advancement, before you know it, ano na lang siya, hindi mo na siya paghihirapan, konting tumbling na lang, mag-change na yung rank mo. So you have to be conscious about that. If you're somebody who already has a big group and you're listening to my training, diba, it's okay naman, it's your responsibility to formulate trainings, it's your responsibility to ensure that your downlines are okay, but your primary responsibility as the leader of your organization is to always walk your talk. Meaning to say, diba, you tell your downlines to move, you tell your downlines to rank advance, you tell your downlines this is how you do things. But at the end of the day, you really have to show your downlines how it's done. Because we always see, diba, the business is 80% mindset, 20% skills. 80% mindset, 20% skills. And when we say mindset, you're trying to pass on the mentality to your downline that this business is really doable. And the best way to convince them, there are two ways. Number one, you train them. You give them trainings. You inspire them through your words. But the most effective way is for you to show your downlines how you're doing, that you're actually doing it, that you're able to do it. And in doing so, pag nakita ng downlines mo na, wow, yung upline ko nag-rank advance, wow, nagawa ni upline mag-director, 10 years na siyang builder. Diba? Sila, all of a sudden, they're excited on their level. And sila mismo, they have this mentality, if my upline can do it, I can do it as well. And if that's the mentality of your group, diba? That they feel na they're empowered, just like you, they can make things happen. All of a sudden, rank advancements in your team becomes the norm. So, typically, if off-peak, diba, walang masyadong rank advancements, the group mindset is that ang hirap naman mag-director, ang hirap naman mag-silver, ang hirap naman mag-gold, ang hirap naman mag-rupee. But in our experience, sometimes it only takes 1 or 2 or 3 icebreakers, 1 or 2 or 3 good role models in the team to break the ice and set the momentum. So if you're somebody, you want momentum and you want continuity and you want to accelerate the speed of your business, you have to make sure that you're rank advancing. You have to make sure that there are people in your team rank advancing. And in doing so, no, if that's the culture, it's very easy to sustain momentum, and it's actually very easy to sustain a solid business in Usana. To summarize all that I've said, diba, number one, you really need to master the business. So right now, I would advise you try to analyze, saan ka ba mahina? Are you not good in selling? Are you not good in inviting people, giving presentations? Are you not good in training? Diba? Try to analyze your weakness, find a mentor, kasi you would need to master all those aspects. Secondly, you need to attract quality people in your team. So after you're able to attract quality people in your team, you need to ensure that they're able to attend trainings. And once you already have a team with you, never ever be complacent. You should always have weekly income goals. You should always pressure yourself week after week after week. And lastly, you should always ensure that you're rank advancing, you're walking the talk. Diba? And pag nakita nyo na ng downlines mo, they're inspired by your rank advancement, they're inspired by your example, mag-multiply yung ganyang culture under your network, your business is gonna explode. Diba? So, in network marketing, just like kanina, diba before ako nag-talk, meron mga nirecognize ang Usana, new directors, new bronze, new silvers. They're not actually my teammates, pero every time people rank advance, it's really inspiring. Bakit? It's really a testament as to the doability of the business. Diba? Nagagawa naman siya ng maraming tao. So, it means it's also something na kaya mo rin gawin. So you just need to get your hands dirty and start building your network. So that's all from me for tonight. Thank you guys for listening, and I hope this training helps you build your business. See you guys!